Hi everyone, as promised to you, I bring to you the story of Mandapal and Lapita. Let's straight away get into the setting of the story. A deep, deep, deep forest. A woman is seated on a seat, a beautiful seat with flowers everywhere. Behind her, a seat is empty. So there are two seats. On one, a woman is sitting, and the other seat is empty. She's waiting. Who is she waiting for? She's waiting for her lover. She doesn't know who her lover is. She doesn't know what does that lover look like. But she's waiting. She's waiting for the love of her life. Who is she? She's Lapita. And why is she waiting? Let's take you a little bit on a flashback. Lapita is a rishi's daughter. And one day, while she was moving around in the forest, she meets two kinnars. Now, kinnars are mythical creatures, okay? And they have a lot of power, and kinnars as such, they don't have a gender identity that way. So they are not limited by just being male or female. They are these beautiful mythical creatures. So Lapita kind of greets them, and the kinnars were really thirsty. So Lapita gives them water, and the kinnars, they quench their thirst and says, what do you want? Because you've really made us feel happy. We were really thirsty. So what do you want? Let's bless you. And Lapita says, you all look so happy. Where do you all get this happiness from? I want to have your kind of happiness. The kinder says, that's interesting. You want to have our kind of happiness? Well, let me tell you where our happiness comes from. We are a pair of eternal lovers. We are never going to be parents. We are never going to be, a husband or a wife. All that we will be are lovers, and we will be loving forever. And maybe our happiness that you see, our glow that you see, is from that love, romance that we are going to be experiencing forever. Lapita says, what a life. Kinnar says, yeah, what a life, but not the conventional type, not like being a mother or not like being a wife. Lapita says, I don't care, but a life of love and romance. Bless me with a life like that. Kinder says, think before you ask for it. Lapita says, I've thought, I want it. Kinders, powerful, they say, so be it. So be it. Lapita gets the blessing of being an eternal lover. Now what does Lapita do? She needs to manifest that blessing. So she creates these two beautiful thrones. They are it's decorated with flowers, it's decorated with fresh leaves, and even sitting on it is like you feel you're surrounded by love because the flowers are smelling beautiful, and it's just lovely. And Lapita is waiting. One day, while Lapita is waiting on that throne, I would say it's a throne because she almost sits like a queen. So one day while Latika is waiting for her lover, a man walks in. And Lapita immediately feels connected to him. Lapita immediately feels that there's something that is here, that there's something that is working. And Lapita says, stay with me. I think you are the one. I don't even think, I'm sure that you are the one. So just stay with me. This man also feels extremely connected to him. But he looks at her and says, I can't. I'm also equally attracted to you. I would love to stay back with you, but I'm sorry, I can't. And Lapita says, first of all, who are you? And he says, I'm Mandapal. And then she says, why can't you stay back? He says, look, my father before dying has asked me to go and marry Jarita. So I am going to Jarita, and I'm going to find Jarita in this huge Khandav forest. Now, can you relate the Khandav forest? Khandav forest is the same forest which was burnt mercilessly by Arjun and Krishna, because Agni was angry, because Lord, I wouldn't say angry, he was hungry, because the fire lord was hungry and they decided to satisfy the fire lord, and they had burnt that whole forest. And in that whole forest, a huge palace called Indraprastha was built. Yes, it's the same Khandav forest. So Lapita says, you are sure you don't want to stay back? Mandapal says, no, I want a wife, I want children, and Jarita is the one because my father has instructed me to go and marry Jarita. Lapita says, remember one thing, go. But always remember that here is Lapita, a woman who has found love in you, and she will be waiting for you. This throne beside her is going to be empty until and unless you come back. Mandapal says, forget me, just move on. Lapita says, that's my business, none of yours. Fair enough. Mandapal walks along, goes to Khandav forest, finds Jarita. Love happens. They get married, they have 4 children, and everything is wonderful. Years pass by. 4 children, usual married couple, mundane life. One day, suddenly Jarita looks at Mandapal and says that, why do you look so sad? Mandapal says, you see, we've got everything, children, we've got food, we've got everything. But I don't find my wife anymore. My wife is now divided into being a mother, and my wife is divided into playing many roles. So Jarita says, oh, I get it. And suddenly Mandapal remembers Lapita. Lapita, in fact, had told him that, you are going for a wife, you will have children, but one day you're going to lose that wife. You're going to lose that woman because she's going to be divided into so many roles. That thought was already there. And he could somehow match it with the image that Jarita has kind of, with what Jarita was doing, managing her children and the usual stuff. So Jarita says, I'm really sorry, I didn't give you that attention. Tonight, I'm going to be just your woman. Tonight, I'm going to be your wife. I'm just going to put the children into sleep. Just wait for that time, and then I'm going to come. And I'm going to come and I'm going to make a garland for you. So what Jarita does is Jarita dresses up, and Jarita, makes a beautiful garland to kind of, spend the night with Mandapal. But as she's going to Mandapal's bedroom, suddenly one of her youngest child starts crying. Lapita, being the mother, immediately rushes to her little boy, starts caring for him, starts giving food. While she's trying to get up, the other boy starts demanding something. The eldest boy wants help with his studies. So she got completely caught up. And as she got completely caught up, she got very tired. She decided, let me, I'll go to my husband being absolutely fresh. Let me sleep for a while. She kept that garland beside her and she went off to sleep. When she woke up, she saw it was sunrise. Children, duties, everything, sunrise. She rushes to the bedroom. And she looks for Mandapal, and Mandapal is nowhere to be found. Where is Mandapal? Mandapal has left that forest. Mandapal has walked towards, deeper and deeper and deeper into the forest, and Mandapal has gone to Lapita. Lapita was still waiting for Mandapal. The seat was still empty. It was very easy. Mandapal goes, Lapita welcomes, and Mandapal finds romance, charm, love, and everything. And it's wonderful, it's great. That's whatever is happening. And Mandapal is getting everything that he wants. Great food, she's cooking wonderful food, she's giving him flowers every evening, she's making garlands for him, she's singing songs for him. A man is really, really happy. One day, amidst all this bliss, Mandapal suddenly sees that right at the edge of the Khandav forest, there is something was looking like a flame. Mandapal tries to focus. He suddenly feels his heart skip a beat. His wife, his boys stay in the Khandav forest, and he thought that he saw a flame there. As he starts focusing, he sees the flames are kind of spreading, and the forest is slowly burning around the edges. And Mandapal tells Lapita, I have to go. I just have to go. Lapita says, you've come to me forever. You said that you've come to me forever. Mandapal says, my boys are there. My children are there. Lapita says, is it only about your boys or is it also about your wife? Mandapal says, no, my children are there. Understand this. You are my love. Lapita says, okay, go. But I'm telling you something. Here is this garland that I'm making for you. Come back by evening. Because if you don't come back by evening, I'll tear this garland into 4 pieces and I'll throw it in the fire. I'll tear this garland into 4 pieces and I will throw it into the fire. It's just not the garland. Remember, Mandapal has 4 boys. Mandapal feels a chill down his spine. He doesn't think anything, he rushes to the forest. When he rushes into the forest, he feels absolutely relieved that his hut has not yet been touched by fire. He quickly goes inside, gathers his children and looks at Jarita and says that, come, I have come to save you. And Jarita says, I'm not asking you anything. But have you really come to save me? You come to save your children. Go ahead. And Mandapal suddenly feels all the stored up love that he's had for Jarita. And Mandapal says, please, I'm sorry. I've just, please, let's just get away from all this fire and everything. And Mandapal says that, Jarita, I'm sorry, I will forever be with you. You are my wife, you're the mother of my children, and I promise to be with you forever. And but we have to rush fast because, apart from the fire, there is someone else who can also harm us. Suddenly, Lapita comes right in front of them, absolutely with fire burning in her eyes. And her eyes looked strange. Fire burning in her eyes, but they were also teary. And Lapita says, remember what I told you. I told you to come back by the evening. And I told you that if you don't come back, I will take this garland and tear it into 4 pieces. And Mandapal says, please don't do it. Don't. I'll come back with you. I'll come back. Let me save them. I'll come back with you. Lapita says, hold on. Have I completed my sentence? I haven't. I have torn these garlands into 4 pieces already. I've made them into 4 small garlands and I have given it to each of your boys. And you be with your boys and your wife. They are wonderful, lovely children. And you be with them. And I leave you. I release you. And Lapita turns her back and goes deep into the forest. As Lapita is walking into the forest, the trees, the sky, the birds, the animals start asking Lapita that, Lapita, are you going to lead the rest of your life alone without the lover that you have been promised? And Lapita says, I'm going to be alone, yes, but that is by choice. I'm going to find love, and I'm going to find that love within myself and within all of you. But no, I'm not going to look for a lover who is frivolous in his loyalties. Saying that, Lapita walks right into the middle of nature, slowly discovering love within herself. Mandapal and Lapita.